In 1994, Steve Morse walked into one of the most impossible jobs in rock, replacing Ritchie Blackmore in Deep Purple. 28 years and 8 studio albums later, I'm not counting Turning to Crime as part of the core canon. Regardless, he didn't just survive this experience, he redefined what a Deep Purple guitarist could be. This is my ranking of his 10 greatest studio solos. Starting at number 10, Weirdistan, from Now What, 2013. This is the first album produced by Bob Ezrin, and you can hear the difference. This song and solo have space to move. Morse stretches out, and he lets notes hang, breathing between phrases. It's the kind of playing that shows confidence, and a guitarist who knows silence is as powerful as sound. Ezrin clearly understood what Morse could do and gave him room to do it. And number 9, Loosen My Strings, from Purpendicular in 1996. This is a ballad that refuses to follow the ballad playbook. No power chord crescendos, no soaring, predictable climax. Instead, Morse plays with a feel, warm, organic, understated. And underneath him, John Lord's Hammond C3 doing what it does best. The two instruments exist together in a way that sounds completely natural, like they've been playing together for decades instead of months. This is the track that proved Morse could inhabit the classic Purple sound without imitating it. At number 8, also from Purpendicular, Cascades, I'm Not Your Lover. This is where Morse announced what he could bring to Deep Purple's more traditional side. The guitar and organ dueling here is the best the band had produced since the 70s. Number 7, Bananas, 2003. This is the title track from Bananas, and it's the first album with Don Airey on keyboards. If Cascades was Morse proving he could duel with John Lord, this is him raising the bar with a new partner. The guitar-organ interplay here has a different energy, more aggressive, more combustible. Key changes flying everywhere, and underneath it all, there's a summertime blues style riff driving the verses that gives the whole track a raw, almost garage rock urgency that you don't expect from a 2003 Deep Purple record. The instrumental break rides all of that chaos and somehow holds it together. Number 6, Throw My Bones, from Whoosh in 2020. Some solos try to steal the spotlight. This one serves the song. Morse slots in so perfectly that the solo becomes inseparable from the track. You can't hum Throw My Bones without hearing his solo in your head. That's harder to pull off than a technically dazzling run. It takes a guitarist who understands that the best solo isn't always the most impressive one. It's the one that makes the song better. This is Morse as a songwriter, not just soloist. Number 5, Don't Make Me Happy, Abandon, 1998. This is Deep Purple at their most atmospheric. Jazzy, bluesy, smoky. It sounds like a late night club at 2 a.m., not a hard rock band. Morse plays with a restrained touch here, bending notes with a blues phrasing that sits somewhere between, well, the blues and Jeff Beck. The tone is warm and saturated. He resists every temptation to break into a shred run. This is one of the most un-Deep Purple things Deep Purple has ever recorded, and Morse is the reason it works. Number 4, Contact Lost, Bananas. A full instrumental, and it feels like it was built entirely around Morse's ability to improvise lyrically on guitar. The melody doesn't feel composed in the traditional sense. It unfolds like Morse is having a conversation with himself, each phrase responding to the last. There's a compositional logic to it, but it breathes like improvisation. For a guitarist known for technical precision, this is Morse at his most emotionally open. Birds of Prey, from Infinite in 2017. Those long, sustained notes that build at the end with a dramatic, almost progressive sweep. Morse isn't playing fast here, he's playing wide. Each note is held and shaped, giving room to develop before the next one arrives. And that effect is cinematic. It feels like the solo is telling a story with a rising arc. Technically, I guess this is about vibrato control, sustain management, and knowing when exactly to push into the next phrase. It's the kind of playing that sounds simple until you try it. I can't imagine trying to pull that off in my Telecaster. Number 2, the well-dressed guitar, an outtake from Bananas. This first appeared on the special tour edition of Rapture of the Deep in 2006. This one is a special case. Yeah, it was an album outtake, but it was a highlight of Purple's show for many years. Not a solo in the conventional sense. It's a full instrumental, and it's the most technically demanding piece in the Morse era catalog. This is neoclassical rock fusion, broken arpeggios and melodic runs built on classical harmonic progressions rather than blues scales. Morse picks every single note in the 16th note groupings, achieving a precise staccato that sounds closer to Baroque harpsichord music than rock guitar. The unison sections where the guitar and keyboards lock together on intricate, fast-paced lines recall the concerto style Deep Purple pioneered in the 1970s, except Morse is doing it with a technique borrowed from classical violin and keyboard studies. The artificial harmonics make the melody sing with a piercing, violin-like quality. It's a guitar workout in the truest sense, and there's nothing else like it in the Deep Purple catalog. And number 1, Sometimes I Feel Like Screaming, from Purpendicular in 1996. One of the longest solos from Morse's entire Purple tenure, it earns every second. The key changes are the story here. Morse navigates through multiple tonal centers without ever losing the thread, each modulation lifting the intensity another level. This is from Purpendicular, his first album with the band, and that's what makes it the number 1 pick. This isn't a guitarist who needed time to settle in. Steve Morse arrived in Deep Purple fully formed, and on this track, in this solo, he proved it in the most emphatic way possible. Not by sounding like Blackmore, but by sounding entirely like himself. So that's my top 10. What did I get wrong? Drop your Steve Morse top 10 in the comments. And if you haven't seen my Blackmore and John Lord solo videos, links are in the description. Paice will be coming soon.